Hello guys, and welcome back to episode 3. A bunch of weeks has passed by, some really busy weeks actually. I have been doing some, as I call it, shit work, all the small things you have to do when building these, like all hoses and coolant pipes and stuff. Let's have a little walk through what has happened. I have washed the interior parts, all the fabric parts at least. They have been in storage for almost 10 years in a barn, so the smell was not that nice. So I sprayed on some interior cleaner and washed them with the pressure washer. Get the smell out of them. I have them now drying here with the fan. I washed them yesterday and they are still a little wet, so have to be like this for a couple of days at least. The mats came out really nice, no smell yet at least, so let's hope they stay that way. And here are the front seats I'm going to use from the 211 chassis. It's with the electric adjusting. These are the only cables, these two to plus and this one to minus. They have this manual height adjuster for the front end and then the buttons for the rear, or the whole seat up and down. They were pretty tight to get in a good position, but when I bolted them straight to the original mount here in the front and made some own mount in the rear, and when you have it in the lowest position, it's pretty okay. This is not maybe the nicest, it's a little bit worn here, but I had them here, so free is always good. And the car itself has changed a bit since you saw it last time. Almost looks like a car already. This original Sender front lip fits very good. I'm very pleased with this one. And if I didn't mention it, this car has these chrome bumpers from original, so it doesn't have the rubber thing here on the ends. So I think this looks much nicer than the regular ones. And I modified this lip because it sits almost 4 or 5 centimeters lower when it's like original fit. And this is a genuine Sender lip from the 80s or 90s. So I cut a little bit of the mounting points to get it up against the bumper. And it's now bolted here with 2 bolts from here, one behind there, and also these mounts here I made, so it's very steady. All the coolers are in place. The radiator is not fixed up yet because I will remove it when installing the diesel pump. But I have welded the same like fitting here, 2.5 inch straight to the turbo, so I can put the hose right on here without any V-band clamp or such. I have made this expansion tank. I think this is from W202 C-Class, which I had here in storage. So I made a simple mount, which is mounted with 2 bolts here. It's very steady. Made a pipe, found a pipe here in my storage also, which goes here and to the T-piece here, like originally on 124s and 190s diesels. Then I made the pipe I mentioned earlier from the water pump housing to here. Here is the pipe, and then a hose to this regulator. The oil feed is in place from CE service, and yesterday I made the oil drain also. It's a steel pipe welded to the flange that goes down about 15 centimeters, and then some hose down to the block fitting. And the wastegate is in place also. I will have to remove it once I have made the screen pipe. I have it there now, so it's plugged. I will make a short downpipe here so I can try to start the car for the first time. I actually got the diesel pump today from Dieselmeken. Really nice and classy as always. It's now made with 8mm elements, set to 55 without boost and 140 with boost. But without the limiter screw here, it gives 210 cc at 5800 rpm. So I think I will use it like this now for the winter and then raise the RPMs and take this screw out completely. If you didn't know, you can take it all the way out, like remove the whole screw if you want. Then it gives the full load. It doesn't need to be there because this limits anyway at the top. So this will be the next part I will put in. But all the fenders have now been mounted in place, and also these made in Finland plastic fenders inside, which are really good protection. They come all the way out to this flare here, so really good in these Finland conditions. This part here is now only pressure washed, so I will clean it a little bit better and put some underbody coating here when everything is in place, so it protects everything from rust. And I have made all the fuel lines here to this pressure regulator, and here is a T-piece with a small fitting which the injector return will be plugged into. This goes to the tank, and you need to have this like this so the injector return doesn't have any pressure. So this line, this thicker here, will go to the return on the new pump, and then the inlet here like original. This is the older type filter holder from 603 and so on, older chassis with these banjo fittings instead of the plastic crap that leaks always. And I plugged the return here just with a regular hydraulic plug and drilled this incoming line with the same thread, M12 by 1.5. So this has now the same flow in and out. And I also made a new harness for the glow plugs. This is the same sensor which was in the original engine in this car. So the cable for that is also going in this same harness. And this windshield wiper like reservoir for the washer fluid is from a 124 station wagon and is in the trunk of those. So I just made a mount. It's like just slot down there and sits very good in place. So it's a very neat reservoir to have, so you don't see it that much from there. And the vacuum lines has been made with some AN hose I had here. We'll see if that works. And this car has like vacuum. All the central locking in the doors is operated by vacuum, 2 different lines. So it has to get vacuum from the same as the engine. Then there's only the stopper valve for the pump which goes in. So it's 3 lines in and 1 out. And the rear brake line is made new. The front ones were so good, so I didn't replace them. Just washed them a little and painted them so they will last. And then the clutch line has been taken from a manual car, from the parts donor car I had. The whole booster and this master cylinder is from that also. And the rear end looks like this now. My car painter guy, Kiitola Bilmåleri, fixed these tail lights for me. They are now tinted with some red color, so they are all red. This piece used to be white and this one orange. So they are now fully red. Gives a pretty nice look to the car. Have to remove them for the MOT of course, but looks nice. And I have made all the RCA cables and some speaker cables here because I am putting in some new stereo stuff here also, so prepared for that now. And also moved the battery here, made a support to the bumper mount right there, and then it's bolted straight to the chassis rail, so it sits good. Took the positive wire from the same car which I took the front seats off, the 211. So it comes through here and through the whole car, and then there to the front. And actually took the rest of the positive line is from a BMW V8 engine. It fits straight to there behind the gas pedal, and then to both the starter and the alternator. And also the body positive line is connected to the same place here. Everything is well protected and mounted there, so there will be no damage to it. And then this, I have got a lot of questions about this shifter I have made, and it's the second one I have built, and the first one worked pretty good, so made this one like exactly the same, just a little bit longer. This is now maybe 25 centimeters long, and it's exactly the same like the ZF stuff I have made before. Works exactly the same. 6 speeds. So the underside is like BMW parts all the way. But then the BMW gearboxes has like a different lock when you pull the gear shifter here, like a little bit harder, then you can put in the reverse. But this one has it like to the left and down. So I have made a stopper here like that. So you have to lift this up to get over the stopper piece like that, and then pull in the rear. And then when you put it back front and to the side, it clicks down. So now the rear gear reverse gear is like protected, so you don't pull in the reverse when putting in second gear. So that's how I have built it. Maybe there is some nicer and better ones on the market, but this is a very simple solution. Just a 12mm rod straight through with the thread for the shifter knob here, and just some steel pipe, and machine these locker rings here. If you want it nicer, you can weld this up or make this in one piece or whatever. But this is a simple fix that works. Otherwise, I haven't done any mods here inside the car yet. Just here's the positive cable for the fuel pump that comes through here, through the floor. And here are the radio cables and stuff. Just have put these plastics here back inside, and we'll try to start the car now for the first time, and just have to put the cluster back in, because these have the oil pressure straight into the car. So if I start the car like this, I will have a good amount of oil here. been 1 day since the first start. It's a bit worrying, but this might be the first ever project in this garage which has not leaked a single drop of anything after the first start. So that's a bit worrying. But anyway, it went pretty much as planned. I didn't film the whole startup process because I had some problem with a shitty battery I've been using, so it took a while before I got the engine turning over at the right speed so I could get the air out of the injector pipes. But as you heard, when the first start on this 5th cylinder inlet valve didn't seal properly because the hydraulic lifter probably was clogged in some way or just had some air bubble inside it. So it took a couple of starts and about 1 minute on idle. Then the idle smoothened up. Everything seemed to be working. I didn't check if the alternator was bringing any power, but the engine runs, so that's good news. Also the starting works now on the key, and also the shut-off valve works. I have to make this a little bit nicer. Just made this fast yesterday so I could test it. Also wire the fuel pump from the trunk with some professional taping here so I could test the car. And since this was automatic from original, I had to do the same as in the 124s. This connector here has 2 thicker cables which has to be connected to each other to make the starter run. So not anything worse than that to make this work in this car. Temperature gauge also is working, but I think I have some ground problems in the cluster because both the fuel tank meter and the temperature meter didn't show the right numbers, so I have to check that later when I am starting to fixing everything here inside. But I will now continue with this front end maybe. Also have to make the throttle linkage. We'll make the same type of linkage stuff I make here on the side of the pump, but have to make some kind of cable from there to this original 1, 2, 3 linkage so I can get a simple solution for that. So now I have been doing some finishing touches here in the engine bay. Only have the screen pipe left to do. Have to find some good pipe for that to weld to the wastegate. But I made the engine heater for the winter use right there, and also for the inner heater fan when I'm going to drive this in the winter time. And here is also the throttle linkage which I have made. This is maybe not the nicest, but seems to be working pretty good. This is the original rod which comes from the pedal down there and inside the car. I think it would have been easier to take the whole pedal from a 124 or 190 and fit that inside and make like the original cable stuff which I have made on the other projects. But I made this now like this. I think this wire, this cable right here is from a pit bike or monkey bike or something. I have just made some mount for it right there and then use this original type of ball like fitting there. And then when you accelerate with the pedal, it pulls the cable like that. So very easy. I have not filmed there, but it's the same type of throttle linkage which I have been using in the previous builds, so if you want to see that better, you can check the other build series here on YouTube. But now everything should be done here. The vacuum system works, the power steering works, the downpipe is fitted in place, 3.5 inch from the turbo down to the flex pipe, which is about 3 inch, and then a V-bend flange right there to continue under the car. But I need to start fitting the axles and stuff before I make the exhaust. And I have also now connected this fan. I think this is a 14 inch or 16 inch Biltema fan, which I had laying around, so we'll try with that now. We'll see when the spring comes if that is enough, but that works now on a simple on-off button in the car, and then the fuel pump comes on when the ignition comes on. And I also have made the electrics for the front seats here ready, both sides. And here is the here's the relay for both fuel pump and fan, and some fuses here. So pretty simple, not that nice, but it'll be hidden under the dash, so don't have to look at that. Here is the interior. Came out pretty nice after washing and drying. These are pretty hard to dry completely. I think if I try to squeeze here, there still comes some water, about or over a week since I washed them, but they are pretty dry now. And here I have the rear axle stuff, which Nymans Gräv painted for me. So I have to start fitting these now under the car to continue putting everything back together and make the exhaust and stuff. I have a new sponsorship or partner in this YouTube series. I asked Lumise, Finland, if they have some nice lights for my project, so I can show these for you before we wrap up this episode. So if we take a look inside here, what we have got. These ones are 100 watts and these are 180. There is also a digital user manual with the QR code. And here is the smaller one. Pretty heavy light, so you know it's some kind of quality. What I have read, you should be having two different type of parking light, like this yellow one or orange one, and then just a white one. So you can choose between. Yeah, it's these two cables, which one you connect, or you can connect both and switch them. Here is the bigger one, also the same type of connecting on this one. So I think this will be looking good on the car. I have to pass the MOT inspection first with the car, and then after that start figuring these out, how to fit them and everything. So I think this should be legal also, but I will try to get the MOT inspection first and then mod something else also on the car after the MOT. So I will show the installation later and how they perform. Also got this nice hoodie from Lumise. So thanks for that. And I will now probably continue with the axles and start fitting the new rear bearings in the rear control arms. So you probably will see that in the beginning of next episode. It's now 3rd of December, so I'm hoping to get this car finished before Christmas, but we'll see about that. what problems I still run into if I found something that I have not countered with. But thanks for watching and see you next time. Moro!